a testimony of normality for me. Oh, Bay wants to go with me. Maybe. Oh, yes. All right. Let me pull up a chair here. Oh, I guess maybe I'm going to go ahead and set my mother's wicker right here so that when people know I'm in the garage and they can hear me talking, they can know not to knock on the door and interrupt me while I'm doing a YouTube video. Yes, my life is that complicated. I shared in my first book of testimony how I was mailing something, and I was probably mailing something to a ministry, because Uncovered No More is a ministry. Hello, this is Kara with the ministry of Uncovered No More. And this was back as I was writing my first book. So it happened before I wrote the book, or I wouldn't have been telling America in the book. Okay, let me tell you something about today. Yesterday, where I showed you outside the bright blue pot, I commanded rain to fill it. But I didn't hear it in my mind that way. I basically said, oh, I bet it's gonna rain to fill my pot and to water my plants. I was worried about the basil that you saw because I cut it down, and the pesto is in my kitchen right now. And I put some fertilizer around it and noted that I will need to get another bag of potting soil because that earth box needs a little extra soil. You saw my first 2 sunflowers in full bloom. It's raining, isn't it? The pot is full, isn't it? The lid is ready to cover it. Why do I cover it, America? I like water retention systems to water plants and stuff, and you cover it so that mosquitoes don't eat you alive. Baymax is curious, as always. Okay, so Christians will say, oh, Kara prophesied the rainstorm. Non-Christians will say, oh, she was probably having joint pain and she knew it was gonna rain. Weirdos like me will say, oh, she talked to the earth and the water sources of the tides and seasons and said, I need my bucket filled back up. Agnostics will shrug their shoulders and go, dang, Kara, you're complicated. But we know that you love us. Atheists will decide that I'm not worth it, and they might even hate me, particularly if a little bit of my post-Christian Republican nature comes out and I didn't sheathe it fast enough for their opinionated selves. I do love atheists. I have to keep a distance. I have to keep a distance. They're more accurate than Republican bullshitters right now. But that's right now, sweethearts. Okay? Give it 1,000 years. I don't even think the word Christian is going to exist at that point. That will be a good thing. Let's hope that the words atheist and agnostic don't exist at that point. That would be a good thing too. You know, 1,000 years is 1,000 years. So, we got some time. Don't waste it. Now, yeah, I'm a mama figure. I just told you what to do because if there's one thing that I see in the United States of America, it's a lot of wasted fucking time. And what people are usually doing is pontificating upon politics and who's more right. It's called arguing about stupid shit. Okay. So, what did I actually do? Okay, so back to the first part of this video. In my book, I testified what had actually happened, and what had actually happened is a gentleman who was helping me mail something to a ministry because I was still in the Christian church at that time said, "You're not going to believe this." When he found out I was an author, and I said, "Oh yeah, yeah." No. I started laughing. I said, "Oh no, it's like, oh yeah, I'll believe you. I believe everybody's testimony, always, 100% of the time. That doesn't mean I'm not going to cuss you out face to face if you're a MAGA. So don't go there with me because y'all have already tried to have meaningful conversations with me at Starbucks. If I happen to start it, you get all excited, little white boy, and you pee all over yourself because you had the opportunity to like suggest to me that I get another job in your white supremacy. Okay, I've already had that moment at Starbucks. I wouldn't suggest that you repeat it anywhere if I decide to talk to you. What you do is you talk about something lovely in your life so that I can rejoice with you. It's called rejoicing with those who rejoice because I do obey the Bible like 100% of the time, accurately, anciently correct. I know history from history. I know allegory from allegory. I know parable from parable. And I know how to interpret the dreams of Revelation in the modern day. But when it comes to actually doing a book review, you're going to get 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John because the King of Kings already told us in the gospel record that John always remains. He also, knock, Christianity, told us that he was going to return. Well, so the gentleman told me the story, and that's not the first time that's happened. Well, yesterday, and I testified it completely on Twitter. Yesterday, I was met with another spiritualist. He openly admitted, after he shared some of his things, because I interviewed him, he treated me seriously. And when I shared with him that in Oak Hill, I had literally had my identity stolen in Oak Hill, and I've had to work that out under the surface with my medical doctor who's known me for years and years, and with Walgreens who takes care of my prescriptions. I also happen to testify in one of my 3 books that are now gone because my publisher was destroyed the same month that, Donald Trump's white supremacy, murderous, criminal ass sat in the White House. Hint, hint, atheists and Christians and etc. Hint, hint, Kara does understand about political shit shows going on around her. Shit, I just bunny trailed. Okay. So what I was going to say is I told several stories like this in my books. I will never again publish for sale. So you can fuck off getting my real testimony about the King of Kings and I on the earth together. He calls me Catherine. Catherine is the same name as Kara. I'm not going to tell you how I know that. I believe he uses Catherine with a K. It's my guess. Catherine and Kara are the same name. I use Anne now, my middle name, because I am in the second part of my ministry as a woman who no longer ministrates. I have daughters who are openly admitting to me they will never have children. And I said, don't ever change. I believe in women having the right to decide whether or not they have children. What is more? They are allowed in my world to be completely nurtured as they get an abortion if they accidentally get pregnant. Now, all the boys in the room who do not like how it is to be treating a woman with actual respect, get the fuck off my YouTube. I am not interested in your opinion about
any woman's sexuality if you haven't noticed. It isn't your business, big shot. And usually this is a white guy. Baby boomers, Gen X. Yeah. I have a special way of handling these assholes. Like I said, you see me and know who I am, or just get an idea that this gal is actually tall, has size 11 feet, and can't even wear most women's clothes, like particularly the tops. I have to buy male t-shirts and stuff because they don't make clothes big enough for idiots like me. Amazon woman kind of thing going on, and the media doesn't acknowledge big women like me. You can finally get size 11 feet. Today, because of my ministry yesterday, you can't see my ankles. I'm still suffering from COVID second vax symptoms. I didn't say I shouldn't have taken the vaccine, and I didn't go bitter. I will gladly do everything I can to help this country stop even the variants, like the Delta of the coronavirus. It's all so confusing now. I don't know what to do. I just am doing the best I can. So that means except for like in coffee shops and smaller places, I'm masking. I hate it, okay? I hate it. I want to scream at American Christianity. I've worn head coverings. I've gone dresses only. I've quit wearing makeup. I've worn makeup. I'm now not cutting my hair, but that's my business. That's more pagan of me, agnostic pagan, because I just don't want to mess with my fucking hair. I hate it. No, I don't. I actually love my hair, and I love the length. I cut it and got judged in the Christian church some years ago because literally until I learned how to handle my hair, if I pulled it back, which I was wont to do when I was younger before I was diagnosed with the scoliosis that's been twisting my back since I was a kid, ponytails would cause neck stress, okay? I'm sitting here with my left shoulder already swollen this morning, okay? I've got to go do some exercises. So it is normal for me to order or prophesy or whatever. The rain to come, I'm sensing it. I know it's going to be there. I could probably be a pretty damn good meteorologist. No, thank you. I'm busy. The last freezing storm of the South. Yeah, I had knowledge. I had knowledge of COVID-19. I'm not going to talk about it. What I'm going to tell you is what just happened yesterday. Like I said, I have testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony of meeting people in my neighborhood, in coffee shops, on walks, different places. You name it, I have a testimony. How I normalize, help people, help them heal just through social interaction. We aren't looking at phones when I'm doing that. Now, the gentleman that I was with yesterday stayed around me. We'd go outside to smoke, reads books, had a backpack. Don't remember if he had a phone or not. I didn't notice. So I decided to talk to him on my way out after I'd done some blog work. It's up at one of my blogs. I sat at the Oak Hill Starbucks. So I just told you that the king actually calls me Catherine, and it's probably with a K, because he knows I'm so fucking tired of the name Kara, which means face to face, which is 1 Corinthians 13 in the flesh, which I told in those same books that I have testimonies after testimonies after testimonies of interpreting dreams, interpreting revelation, being able to talk to people, okay? So I go up to him and I introduce myself. He was homeschooled. He had dreadlocks. I confirmed that he can pay his bills. He is transitioning from an apartment because this is what I've said. I've said this publicly. I've said this privately. All 10 of my children are highly trained by their mother, whether you believe me or not, to hide their gifting abilities because they were bred and born in the womb of tribe Judah, election Gentile. That is the same mystery as the King of Kings. But there's only one man roaming the earth who his lineage is from a marriage where the seed of the earth was not used. Who is breaking the curse? That's called Jesus Christ. He lived here for 33 years. He had brown skin. I just yesterday had to take some bullshit of political persuasion down. I am writing in the article that I had to do that because I called out the black baby boomers as much as I called out the white male baby boomers. And I told women, don't mistreat men in your midst. Don't do it. It's just cyclical bullshit. And I am having to put some balance. Well, Jeff Tiedrich, Smirking Chimp, is pure gold. All the authors that are working there, they've been working there for 19 years. I was able to pull one article about the squad to bring into balance to what I'm having to say. Because I'm talking about baby boomers. I'm talking about progressives that are millennials and Gen Z in the article. So it is only a responsible author and political essayist, myself. I'm talking about myself because I'm also applying runes and telling you that I just called it on rain in my area, and my bucket was empty yesterday, and I told the bucket, it'll probably be rain because you need to be full. And it happened. What the fuck ever. There was a literal tea cloud formed as I was taking a left after getting gas in Oak Hill, taking a left to head to Mopac to go to 290 to come home yesterday after I talked to this gentleman. I do not know what his first name is, but I ministered to him, and he admitted that there were agents that were trying to steal his identity. He's having to move out of his apartment, and I looked at him and I said, are you talking about this stuff? Oh yeah. I was like, no. You can't, people can talk about their spirituality to me. You can't do that face to face with people like in coffee shops. So he knew he was trying to figure me out. I asked him point blank, have you seen Jesus Christ? Have you been in contact with the King of Kings? No. Jesus to him is not the man I know and am dealing with. All glory to God. All capitals, neither male nor female. All glory to God. Okay. So when I've done this a billion times, you have to moderate your tone, darling Kara, and you have to talk to them at their level. And this gentleman is way more highly educated than I am when it comes to metaphysical documents. Way more educated than I am. He was homeschooled, just like my children. Beautiful light blue eyes. When he openly admitted to me that he has I'm not going to tell you everything because you won't believe me, America. You're bullshitters. But he is having to move, and identity theft is chasing him. He may have to leave. Okay. I just thought, oh dear. He showed me he had taken out his sketchbook and he was sketching. He sketches in ink like some other spiritualists that I've helped and dealt with. And I took my glasses off. I leveled my eye level with him. My eyes are brown. And I put my hand over his hands because he needed help. But he's so beautifully intelligent. He needs to help. And he has no place to minister because we're outcasts. He and I are outcasts. so is the King of Kings in America. If you haven't noticed from my testimony that the King of Kings himself is a social outcast in America. Fucking good job, America. I've been with you 13 years patiently, and I'm still having issues even in my family that I'm having to deal with. You'd have to keep up with my Twitter to know how I reported that to the King of Kings. Woke up at 2:33 early this morning, put some tweets in a book, hit delete. Because I'm done with America and what you do to me on Twitter. But so is he, and he has been done the whole time. I had to wade through that bullshit. Moving on with him. Now, this gentleman, he says, okay, so I laid my hand, so his hand was here. I laid my hand with authority on top of his hand. I made sure my eyes were level. I took my glasses off, and I made a connection. There was no pain for me. I share in books where I would make spiritual connections like this with Christians. It always hurts, both of us metaphysically. Okay, there was no pain. We were in complete silence in heaven, and that gentleman, I spoke very simply, rebuking death. There's some, he's been cursed. He's been cursed, and I was taking it off. And I have that authority according to the book of 2 John, but outside of the Bible, I'm Tara, and you don't understand me, America. You just keep trying to use my stuff, American Christianity, and I think, the King's saying, done here, okay? He immediately, as I would just rebuked and said, you will not continue to persecute this man. After I interviewed him, saw his artwork, he looked at me and began speaking effortlessly another tongue. And I said, I cannot understand you. I am listening. And I fully received it. He had to interpret his perfect language to me. And he was basically saying, I bring this, what this spiritualist is ministering to me, I bring this into my life. Effortlessly. We effortlessly did this. We were point blank in heaven. I will close with telling you what he said to me. He said, I have met you before. He couldn't figure out my body form this time. I have met you before. I said, oh, what did I look like? He couldn't answer my question. What he could do was open his sketchbook. He sketches in ink. It was this beautiful circular thing. It's his representation of Alpha Omega. My name to him the last time we met is Rosie. Rose of Sharon. I raise small roses and have done for years the mini roses. I'm now breaking over to bush roses. So I'm known. He doesn't know me by Tara, which is what the Christian and the Hindu and the Buddhist nations know me by. He knows me as Rosie from a previous life. He knows my name is Kara this time. He effortlessly talked about Shekinah and El Shaddai, which I just said in YouTube. Christians, I defined blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. He effortlessly started talking about what I had already released YouTube to define. He knows exactly what I'm communicating, but we had to be careful because that's how intense it is. And I'm an agnostic like the King of Kings here, because there were no witnesses to this man and I, because you're not privileged with that. I do know today that that man and the King of Kings are two people, if they encounter this YouTube, will believe me. That's all I know as it continues to rain. I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna drink another cup of coffee and continue my artwork. I have things to do today. Just like you, whomever you are. I was awakened at 2:33 for some ministry to my family, every bit as much as I was awakened to prepare myself for this YouTube. I ate granola. I got sick to my stomach. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm feeling better this morning. But indeed, again, my ankles are swelling because of various things, but primarily the COVID-19 second vax is having to leave my body right now. If there's like a variant vaccination, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it, but I can do what I can do, which is wear a mask in large places. My children are going to be required to do it because we're going back into Christian midst, and they lack the fear of God as it concerns COVID-19. It doesn't matter whether they're Catholic or Protestant, Christians lack the fear of God as it concerns COVID-19. I have been hollered down in somebody's house because of this bullshit, this conspiracy theory bullshit that everybody's spouting and won't stop. The King of Kings has made it very clear he wants vaccination for, I don't even know how old he wants it. He wants it mandated. So I'm going to just command the federal government and the authority of the King of Kings, since it's on my blogs, mandate the vaccinations. So everybody who I have been kind to you face to face, get vaccinated. I'm not going to say that to you face to face. I speak to you in your language. Literally. And when I got a gentleman who can lock eyes with me and speak in his language in a native tongue effortlessly, and he was probably accurate to Rosie, the Alpha Omega figure that he's already drawn, when he said to me, he didn't know what I was going to do with that. He admitted, I've met you before. I said, oh, okay. I just tapped back to that. Now, I told somebody close to me today, you need to understand something. I couldn't introduce you to this person. You consider them trash. Just like you consider my spiritual life trash. At least this time they respectfully listened and tried to understand my pain just a little bit better. That's all I'm going to say to that person this week. Thank God nobody interrupted me while I was doing a ministerial, high-level YouTube telling you about another piece of trash like Beaty-Coffey. Of the ministry of Uncover No More, both of us, our bills are paid. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, all of you who consider that gentleman and I trash, you have not love. And what does the Apostle Paul say? It profits you absolutely nothing. So you go pay your bills your way. You go play the market, Wall Street. You go do your shit, and you keep watching true voices of truth fade. Now, because you're killing us with your policy, let me close with the piece of artwork I'm doing today, because it's about this, and it's from Smirking Chimp. And so I guess this video will go on 2 blog articles. So this is from a Smirking Chimp article, and I have not interpreted the runes, but this is appropriate for this video. Truth to real power, power to real truth. This is from an article, I can't quote it so I won't read it. This is on Smirking Chimp by a female author concerning the squad. The squad is several members of Congress that are mostly women. I think there's one man involved. They're none of them white skinned, and that is very good. They're progressive, and they're fighting to get real policy in as Democrats. The Republicans fight these people constantly, degrade them, and keep going in their bullshittery. They're so false and negative. They're criminal at this point. And we can't even get the real criminals from the last election into the jail for the rest of their lives. We can't even do that. Come on, justice system. Stop bullshitting. Be real and courageous. Supreme Court, I'm talking to you. Judges throughout this land, I'm talking to you. I'm going to keep calling you murderers until you throw the correct people into jail, number one. And number two, release all of them that are there because of weed. And normalize weed in this country. Don't normalize hard-level drugs that are on the street, fueling the black markets out there. Can I get a big duh? Because I certainly don't want your amen this morning.